Alright, let's talk freelancing. So I didn't start off as a videographer, which is what I wanted to be. I started off doing photography, which, to be honest with you, I do regret. However, that is how I got my first clients. Now, this video is going to be the good and the bad, and hopefully for anyone who is trying to start up as a freelancer, you can get some good advice and hopefully not any bad advice coming from me. In the early days when I first got my camera, I used to do the biggest beginner mistake, which was I was not intentional with my work. So I used to photograph my friend, sunsets, benches, trees, just random stuff, and that did nothing for my portfolio. And to be honest with you, if I can rewind time, I would 110% be intentional with my work. And what I mean by that is, do not do anything that I just did. What I would suggest you do is, if you're trying to go into a niche like Muay Thai, for example, which is what I'm going to talk about later in the video, I would suggest you do combat sports photography or videography if you're trying to be a videographer. I wouldn't do something like street photography if you're trying to get into combat sports, and vice versa. You know, I wouldn't do combat sports photography if I'm trying to get into car photography, if that makes sense. Your portfolio needs to make sense with the type of work you're trying to do. What really opened up the doors for me was Muay Thai. I started doing photography at interclubs, and I made sure to attend as many interclubs as possible at the start of my career, which did get me known in that Muay Thai community, in the Northwest especially. And what I used to do from that was, a lot of fighters came up to me and asked me for photos before the interclubs even started. And I used to say, okay, here you go, just give me a shout out. And that really helped me quite a lot, which leads on to my next part of the Muay Thai evolution, I guess you can call it. I started getting work from promoters. The first person that I started to get work from was my Muay Thai coach. Now, obviously, I know him. However, he used to have his own photographers, but because he started seeing my photos and he trusted me in doing that work, I was allowed to do photography for his own shows. And I started to upgrade to doing videography work from there, which was what I wanted to do with my career. And because other promoters were seeing his shows, that were attending his shows, they came up to me and asked me, hello, can you come work on our shows? And that was probably the best moment of my life, because being able to work on other promoters' shows really builds your connections. Because if you can secure yourself consistent work with a promoter, that is the best way to make money. So that is what I used to do as a freelancer in the beginning of my career. Muay Thai really helped me out quite a lot. Now, there is a catch, and you might be like, how is there a catch photographing shows? You know, you can be doing MMA shows, boxing shows, surely there's no catch to it. However, you'd be surprised, there really is a catch. Now, I don't know if I'm exposing too much here, but my issue was, when I first started doing freelance, was a lot of promoters would be like, here, you'll make £2,000 a show. I promise you, you will never ever see £2,000 a show. So say for example, there's 50 fighters. In Muay Thai especially, you sell an album for £20. So an album can have 20 photos and you'd sell it per fighter. Yeah, you can make like, probably like 600 tops, but you need to be lucky. And now if a show has mostly adults, to be honest with you, good luck making money. Whereas if a show has a bunch of kids, most of the parents want to buy the photos. So those were the shows that I was trying to target. However, you're going to run into people trying to scam you out of money, because promoters don't pay you up front. They promise you money, like, yeah, you'll make £2,000, but it's actually up to you to make the money by selling the photos to the fighters. So if a fighter loses, like 60% of the time, no, they will not buy the photos. Whereas if they win, you have quite a high chance of them buying photos, but there is still that slim chance of them not buying photos. So you have to hustle for yourself. You have to pay for your own travel. You have to take time to edit. You know, you have to pay for your own equipment insurance. You have to deal with parents trying to scam you and not pay you. And you know, it's just a headache. And in the end, I gave up on that. It just wasn't worth my time, which leads me on to my next point. Don't get stuck doing what you actually do not want to do long term. And what I mean by that is, try and not get stuck in a niche. So for example, I wasn't stuck in Muay Thai. However, that was the only type of work I was getting, because I made my whole page around Muay Thai. So it wasn't even a business at that point, it was just another Muay Thai page. So I used to post Muay Thai highlights from clients I used to work for. I used to just post Muay Thai photos. And obviously, that is a good way to brand yourself if you were trying to do Muay Thai. However, I was trying to do property work, I was trying to do commercials, I was trying to do photography for other people. However, I just looked like a Muay Thai page, and that was my issue in the beginning, and I genuinely regret it so much. It made it a lot harder for me to find clients. So what I do suggest for you in the beginning Yes, do like few pieces of work for that niche, but every other post, try and mix it up so you make it clear that you're not just a combat page, a car photography page, a wedding page. Make it clear that you can do multiple pieces of work rather than just focusing on one niche, if that makes sense. If you do like the niche you're in and you want to do it for the rest of your life, yes, go do it, no issue. But this is for the freelancers who want to do different types of work. And now the reason I'm saying this is because imagine me, who's just been stuck doing Muay Thai work. Yes, I am a skilled photographer, I can capture good photos. However, are you gonna get hired to do a wedding? 90% of the time, you are not gonna get hired to do a wedding because it doesn't look like you've got the skills, if that makes sense. Whereas if you've done a wedding, you've done a corporate video, you've done like a clothing brand shoot, you've done combat sports, your portfolio is big. It looks like you can do a lot of work. So if you get what I mean, try and keep your portfolio diverse as possible as a freelancer. Don't stick yourself in one niche. You can keep with that niche if it gets you work, but try and also do work on the side. This leads me to where I'm at now. I recently switched over and did a whole rebrand, which is called ABK Creative. And now the reason I did a rebrand is because I was stuck. I genuinely did not know how to progress Discover without doing a full rebrand. I needed a new, not personality, but a new face, like a new identity, if that makes sense. So by doing this, I now have a clear mindset. I've still got that following from combat sports, and I could still go back to combat sports if I want. And I have done a few combat gigs. Like, I've not completely given up on it, but I'm more strict with myself. I'll never just do a combat show because I know my worth. So I'll do more behind the scenes stuff because that's still easy for me to get that type of work. Whereas I won't do photography, but if you ask me to do a trailer for your event, yes, gladly I will do that because I can charge up front. It's work I enjoy. And I want to do weddings, I want to do corporate videos, I want to do clothing brand shoots. That's the type of work I'm trying to do. So I'm never ever gonna get stuck in one niche with this new ABK Creative rebrand, and hopefully I can stick to that. And to be honest with you, I didn't think I was gonna get any type of work, but luckily life's, working my way, and I have been able to get a few gigs. I've diversified my portfolio so much, which I am happy about, and hopefully by the end of the year I will get a wedding booked in the UK. So that's where I'm at right now. I know I've been doing a lot of rambling in this video, but I'm gonna try and summarize everything now. As a freelancer, diversify your portfolio and make it intentional. Again, if you're trying to be a car or motorsports page, do motorsports work. If you're trying to do combat sports photography, go do combat sports photography. However, if you're trying to be a freelancer, typically you will be doing a lot of different work. And one thing that I do suggest you do, which actually does work, do a lot of fake it till you make it. So get your friend, you can put them in front of a white wall drop, do model photography. No one's gonna question you. As long as it looks good, go do it. If you're trying to get into doing commercials, do spec ads. Pretend like Nike has hired you, and to the best of your ability, go make that Nike commercial, because that's the best way for you to build experience. Same thing with just doing any type of fake it till you make it work. If you go out and do it and pretend that you've been hired, no one will know, and you look quite talented doing it. So that's 100% this type of work that I would suggest that you guys go do out there. It's the best way for you to build your portfolio, because if you're not going to get clients and you're waiting to get clients, good luck. You're genuinely not going to get any work. Whereas if you're doing a lot of fake it till you make it work, a lot of people will just look at your page and be like, oh, this person's talented, let me hire them. So that is what I would suggest you do as a freelancer. Go do a lot of fake it till you make it work. Anyway, that's the end of the video, so I do hope you've learned a few things. If I've left anything out of this video and you're a freelancer that's watching this, go drop your comments down below and help out other people that would appreciate that help. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.